Chapter 5. Soft but not fragile. Honoring the strength of a sensitive heart. Opening. Take a deep breath, slowly inhale, and gently exhale. As you settle into this moment, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been told that you are too sensitive, too emotional, too caring, too affected by things? Perhaps someone told you that you need thicker skin, that you take things too personally, that you feel too much. Maybe after hearing these words over and over again, you began to believe there was something wrong with you. Perhaps you started hiding your emotions. You became quieter. You built walls around your heart. You tried to become stronger by becoming less feeling, less open, less yourself. But what if your sensitivity was never a weakness? What if your softness was never the problem? What if your ability to feel deeply is one of the most beautiful gifts you possess? Today, I want to invite you to remember something important. You can be soft without being fragile. You can be gentle and still be strong. You can feel deeply and still stand firmly in this world. Your softness is not something to fix. It is something to honor.
The world often misunderstands softness. We live in a world that often celebrates hardness. Be productive, be strong, be independent, be tough. Never cry, never show weakness. Never let anyone know that something hurt you. Somehow, we have learned to associate emotional sensitivity with weakness. But when did feeling become something shameful? When did compassion become a flaw? When did tenderness become something to hide? A flower is soft, yet it survives storms. Water is soft, yet it shapes mountains. The morning sunlight is soft, yet it awakens the entire world. Softness has never meant weakness. Softness is simply another form of strength. A quiet strength, a healing strength, a strength that does not need to shout to prove its existence. Sensitive people notice what others miss. Sensitive people often see things that others overlook. They notice changes in energy. They feel tension in a room. They hear sadness hidden behind someone's smile. They sense beauty in small moments. They cry during songs. They feel deeply connected to nature. They remember tiny details. They notice when someone is hurting, even when no words are spoken. Sensitivity is awareness. It is a way of experiencing life with greater depth. While others may move quickly through the world, sensitive people often experience it more fully. This can sometimes feel overwhelming, but it can also be a gift, because to feel deeply is to live deeply. To notice beauty is to experience more wonder. To empathize is to love more completely. Your sensitivity allows you to connect to life in extraordinary ways.
The burden of feeling everything. Of course, being sensitive is not always easy. Sensitive people often carry invisible burdens. They absorb the emotions of others. They replay conversations in their minds. They worry about hurting people. They become exhausted in loud or chaotic environments. Sometimes they feel things so intensely that they wish they could turn their feelings off. You may have prayed, "I wish I didn't care so much. I wish I could be stronger. I wish things didn't affect me this deeply." But strength is not the absence of feeling. Strength is learning how to carry your feelings with gentleness. Your sensitivity becomes painful only when you believe you must hold everything alone. You are not responsible for everyone's emotions. You are not required to absorb the suffering of the entire world. You can care deeply and still have boundaries. You can be compassionate and still protect your peace. Softness needs boundaries. Many sensitive people struggle with boundaries. Because they care so much, they often give too much. They say yes when they want to say no. They stay in relationships that drain them. They listen to everyone's problems while ignoring their own needs. They believe love means self-sacrifice. Eventually, they become exhausted, resentful, empty. Softness without boundaries becomes self-abandonment. Boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are acts of self-respect. A garden needs a fence. Not because the flowers are weak, but because beautiful things deserve protection. Your energy deserves protection. Your heart deserves protection. Your peace deserves protection. You do not become less loving by having boundaries. You become healthier. You become wiser. You become able to give from fullness instead of exhaustion. Feeling deeply is not a problem to solve. Many people spend years trying to fix their sensitivity. They try to become tougher, more detached, less emotional. But what if there is nothing wrong with your heart? What if your tears are not weakness? What if your empathy is not a burden? What if your tenderness is one of your greatest gifts? The world desperately needs sensitive people. The world needs people who notice suffering, people who create beauty, people who care, people who listen, people who can sit with another person's pain without trying to escape it. Sensitivity creates artists, healers, writers, musicians, teachers, caretakers, and people who make others feel seen. Your softness may be exactly what someone else needs: the courage to stay open. After being hurt, many people decide to harden themselves. They build emotional armor. They stop trusting. They stop feeling. They stop loving fully because it feels safer. But every wall that keeps pain out also keeps love out. Remaining soft after disappointment is an act of tremendous courage. Choosing kindness after betrayal is strength. Choosing compassion after heartbreak is strength. Choosing to stay open in a difficult world is strength. Softness says, I have been hurt, but I refuse to become cruel. I have suffered, but I refuse to stop loving. I have cried, but I still choose hope. That is not fragility. That is bravery.
There is wisdom in tears. Many people are uncomfortable with tears. They apologize for crying. They hide their emotions. But tears are not evidence of weakness. Tears are evidence that your heart is alive. Sometimes tears are grief. Sometimes they are relief. Sometimes they are gratitude. Sometimes they are love overflowing. Crying is one of the body's ways of releasing emotional pain. There is wisdom in allowing yourself to feel. There is healing in not running from your emotions. Every emotion carries a message. Sadness asks us to slow down. Anger asks us to protect what matters. Fear asks us to pay attention. Joy invites us to be present. Our emotions are not enemies. They are messengers. When we honor them, we begin to understand ourselves more deeply. Heart. A soft heart is incredibly resilient because softness bends instead of breaking, like bamboo in the wind, like water flowing around stones. A rigid heart often shatters under pressure, but a soft heart adapts, learns, heals, forgives, begins again. Softness is not weakness. Softness is flexibility. Softness is emotional intelligence. Softness is the willingness to remain human. The strongest people are often not the hardest. They are the ones who remain kind, the ones who continue to care, the ones who can still see beauty despite pain, the ones who keep their hearts open. A meditation for sensitive souls. Close your eyes. Place one hand over your heart. Take a slow, gentle breath. And repeat these words. My sensitivity is not a flaw. My softness is not weakness. I honor my emotions. I honor my empathy. I allow myself to feel deeply. I release the need to become harder. I protect my peace with healthy boundaries. I trust my gentle heart. I can be soft and strong at the same time. I can feel deeply and remain grounded. I am not fragile. I am beautifully human.
Closing reflection. If you have spent years trying to become less sensitive, I want you to hear this. You do not need to become harder. You do not need to stop feeling. You do not need to apologize for your tenderness. Your softness is not a mistake. Your sensitivity is not a burden. Your ability to feel deeply is part of your wisdom, part of your beauty, part of your humanity. The world may not always understand your heart, but your heart does not need the world's permission to exist. Be soft, be kind, be gentle. And remember, a flower is soft, water is soft, light is soft, and yet they change the world every day. You can too, because you are soft, but you are not fragile.